dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I've tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching, and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. Whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion. But there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
So here's your line search. A lot of area that need to be searched out here. You can imagine this is the area that we haven't even covered today that we will do on a future line search. Right now we did it from, as you can look really well, the road with Evan on this little bike. You see his truck out there on Sun Valley Parkway. This is the area that we covered. We went up that direction to a certain point where the vehicle you see out there on the road. From somewhere near that area, it was turned around, and now we're heading back to our vehicles. But like I said, this is on the area that we stopped with the lady with the umbrella there. This is how far the line search is stretched from where they're at on down. But this is the area that have yet to be searched. That we have to search is north of where Daniel was last seen. So the biggest part is trying to make sure we get that covered. It's very difficult when, the numbers are smaller. One time ago, line searches, we had close to 100, 200 people sometimes, where we can break line searches down to a number of different grids. People working at the same simultaneously. We have a lot of quads and razors, but that was during the time when my son, this was a rescue mission and everybody was looking for my son's vehicle. This has since turned to a recovery, but you know what, it's still urgent to me as a father because we found human remains out here, and if you look at this terrain, go to even think that my son may be out here on this ground somewhere. So I think we may have a hold, and if you see the line searches there, everybody there on the line. Okay. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. What we do is we clear when we find something. We take a picture. One of my team members go out and check it out, or myself. We take the picture, make sure it goes up to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So it can go, a copy to go to Buckeye Police Department, a copy to go to myself, and a copy to go to my investigator. So had to make sure that is done correctly. One system we use is called Guide GPS. It's very useful in terms of the keeping the line searches and keeping up what area that we searched last. Things like this. This is a wash and things like that. So we check these washes very well. Like I said, on the next search, we'll be going farther down that direction. But right now, we're up here doing the line searches up here in this area. Like I said, we're on the way back towards our vehicle. We've been out here since 6:45. This morning, we did a safety briefing. We got started around 7:15, 7:30, and we're still at it. So we did really good progress. We're pretty much done. We're getting past this point of our searches.
I'm going to move a little bit over to the east.
Okay. Try to see if I can go ahead of the volunteers.
Copy.
Everybody on this side here. The terrain changes really quick. We start off with sometimes open areas like this, and then we get really thick areas. Y'all found a gold nugget? Oh, a shiny rock. Okay, I thought it was a gold nugget or something. That's right. There's supposed to be gold out here, though. Yes. But yeah, this is off in the Sonoran Desert.
I'm going to shift it over to the east, so if everybody could shift just a little bit over. Copy.
Well, like I said, this is the Sonoran Desert. Of course, a lot of wildlife out here. Also, there's a lot of mines out here. Vertical mines, horizontal mines, but mostly vertical mines. And the blessing part is it's not in this area so much. And well, that gives us an opportunity to make sure the volunteers are safe. Because in this area, you don't have vertical mines too much in this area here. So we don't have to worry about people driving into them. I know we won't walk into them because we are going at a slow pace. As you can see, the line search is moving at a slow pace. We are actually looking on the ground. That's what line searches is. I kind of wonder, I'll actually stay with the line. Like I said, I try to go ahead of the line to kind of screw up the terrain. Most times I have my drone. I didn't bring it today. I have my drone, and I'll put my drone out this line here. I'll take my drone out ahead of us to see what we're going into before we get there. Take a lot of pictures, things like that, so I can have footage for later on and stuff like that. So try to do it that way. So I tell everybody's getting really tired, but you know what? They're very dedicated people. Very dedicated people who take their time out and watch and look on the shrubberies and things like that to make sure nothing is buried or missing anything. So, but the good part is, like I said before, you know, because of this line searches looking for my son, we have recovered remains of other people, and hopefully have brought some form of closure to another family. You know, unfortunately, those people had to be found that way. They was found out here lying on the ground. You know, as a father.
Right there, on that little cross.
As a father, it's hard to
Copy.
hold. It's kind of hard to, just imagine my son may be out here on the ground somewhere. So that's what keeps me going. If he's out here, I pray that he's not, but if he is, I want to recover him. I say
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
good job.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you for coming out to this morning Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son Daniel went missing on June the 23rd, 2021, from his work site out there in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. A little bit about my son. He's a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. After he graduated honors, first of all. After he graduated, he came out here to Arizona to start his life and his career. His life is, like I say, he's a geologist, something he really enjoyed wanting to do. He started that career with that idea when he was in his freshman year of college. Like I said, graduated with honors. He came out here, first job, landed his job immediately once he came out here to Phoenix with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. Where he was hired on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. What Daniel do is he go out to various well sites all over the state to check the viability of those wells. His job, like I said, entails checking the rock sediments that's in the bottom of those wells to the water levels to make sure that those wells are producing at least 100 years of water. Most communities that come out here that's being built here in Arizona have to have that 100 years by law. And so that's his job is very important. You know, very important for people who have communities that are building out there. If you guys was to buy a home, for instance, out in some community, you would like to have that 100-year of guaranteed water supply in case something to go wrong. So his job is very important for the environment. Also, to make sure your water is safe to drink, things like that. So he was out there on June 23rd. He went to 2 well sites. He went one that morning, roughly around 7 in the morning. Then he made his way to the second well site where he eventually went missing. Like I said, that morning he met with a guy working from a company called Weber. The guy met my son out there on Sun Valley Parkway. He followed my son, according to this worker, my son followed him into that well site, which is about a mile west from Sun Valley Parkway, and also it's 2 miles north from that point at the T junction. So once they made it to the well site, the worker said that my son and him had a conversation that lasted roughly about 10 minutes. In that conversation, my son was concerned about the weather, wanted to go ahead and close the site down, and also that he wanted to go back to Phoenix to get some rest. He said he decided to wait along because he said the sale was going to pass. It wasn't too much rain. It was going to pass pretty quickly. And my son decided to get in his vehicle, wave off to him, and get in his vehicle and drive off. My son was never seen again. Almost 30 days later, right here behind me, you see this vehicle in that ravine. My son's vehicle showed up almost 30 days later on July the 19th. My rancher was out there in the desert for a couple of days. He came 2 to 3 days prior to July the 19th to search for his cattle to see if they came down that very same ravine there. The vehicle wasn't there. He came back again to check to see if his cattle came through. The vehicle was there on the 19th of July, right there, crashed on the side. Everything my son wearing on his body, his safety vest, his work boots, his jeans, his shirt, underwear, sock, everything was on the ground in a pile. My son, like I said, still haven't been missing. Still haven't been found since. So it's been very difficult for me and my family. Of course, you can imagine just the fact of knowing that Daniel was out of his character. On June 23rd, his sister alerted me, gave me a phone call, told me that Daniel was a coworker came looking for Daniel. That alerted her. I had to do my due diligence, told her to go, check his apartment to make sure he wasn't there. Excuse me. In the meantime, I made some phone calls. Several of us made some phone calls to see if we can get in contact with him. Unable to do that. Eventually, I started looking at the time difference because it's 3-hour time difference from here in Phoenix. In South Carolina and Phoenix, and it was over 6 hours. That's something way out of character for Daniel. That's when I got worried because that's not him. Daniel has never been a person to just disappear without telling his family members. He take trips. I cannot say that he'll take trips, but he always alerted us somehow, some way that he's making a trip. Also, I decided to put in a missing person report. At least I did start off as a missing person report. I called the Tempe Police Department because at that moment, when that happened, he became a resident of Tempe, Arizona. He moved out of Phoenix, been a resident of Tempe. Called the Tempe Police Department to see if they could do a welfare check to make sure nothing had happened to him and he was in his apartment. Tempe alerted me they couldn't do it because I mentioned the White Tank Mountains because, of course, I was doing my due diligence at the time before I called them and to find out more information about my son not being at the job site. They told me to call. They gave me the number to Buckeye Police Department, who was supposed to be handling that case because it was this White Tank Mountain area where the job told me. I didn't know what it was at the time. So, of course, everything went on from that point. I was able to finally put in a missing person report after the first initial call. They told me I had to wait an additional 3 hours because of the 12-hour wait that you have to do before you can report someone missing. But for me, that was very hard because it's very urgent because I know my son. And it's crucial that they go looking for him. After that time, I was able to put in a missing person report. Officer Cruz was very helpful. He decided to go down this. He explained to me there's a road called Sun Valley Parkway. He was go down that road and check the area to see if he was on the side of the road. And I was really grateful After a while of doing my due diligence still, I found out that he was actually missing in the desert area itself. I asked Officer Cruz, can they go out in the desert, search for my son? He's not from Arizona, saying he don't know anything about her. That was the first time out there. So, can they go look for him? They couldn't do it. He told me because it was night, but they would do it in the morning. So I paced the floor, waited till the morning, and the morning came. Once they showed up, or once the morning came, I had a different officer, I believe his name was Haley, called me and took over from the night shift. And he said that, yes, they would have a helicopter to go out and search for my son. Very relieved, very relieved. About an hour or so later, they decided to call back and tell me that he told me that the flight was canceled. It was unauthorized because his higher-ups said that Daniel had the right to leave. He's a grown man. If he want to leave, he can. After hearing that, of course, that was enough for me to know that this department was not going to search for my son. I had to go do it myself. Of course, Daniel's my responsibility. I'm his father, so that's what's going to happen. Grab everything I can at the moment, spur of the moment without thinking, everything I could, and started heading up to Arizona. Once I got near Arizona, near Phoenix, I did get a call from my auntie in Philadelphia, who told me that they were going to have a Firebird helicopter in the air. I was very relieved to hear that from that. But like I said, it was almost 3 days later, since my son had been missing. That was the first supposedly search for my son out there. That search came out empty. Of course, when I got here, I worked with the Buckeye Police Department. I worked with the workers, and I started my own investigation to try to find out what happened to my son. Everything we needed from the Buckeye Police Department was it started falling apart quickly. We asked for cell phone pings to try to help locate my son because, the phone been ringing for almost a day before the battery started going dead. We found out about the Uconnect in this vehicle. It's not an OnStar. They couldn't get information from that. They couldn't get the cell phone pings, and they couldn't provide us with any type of movement from his apartment ever since he'd been living here in Arizona, from a traffic light to whatever. They couldn't find anything. So from that point, we're very frustrated as a parent. I was very frustrated. As his mother, she was frustrated. The siblings, we had to start doing things ourselves, from riding around Phoenix looking for his vehicle, from the airports to you name it, just spending days out there. Myself, going out there to Sun Valley Parkway to find out about this desert, start doing researches and things like that. I did listen to the Buckeye Police Department's advice, but not going into that desert all alone. But I stayed out there with my binoculars, see if I can spot him from the roadway. Then the whole thing that was keeping me from my son was that desert. So I found the ways to start my own searches, which I did. I've been conducting searches ever since June 20, a little after June 26th, probably like a week and a half after June 26th, when I got here in Arizona, and I've been searching for him since. Out there, we conducted many searches, over 30-some weeks of searches, and also over 20,000 acres of searches out there, line searches and things like that. So it's been a whole lot. I also started my flyer distribution to bring awareness to my son's case. Like, this is a flyer right here behind me, to bring awareness to my son's case, and also fought really hard to get local news and the national news channels to take my son's story. So as you know, again, I'm saying I've been here working hard. But anyway, I want to tell you guys, I'll start off before I get this Q&A going. The special operations search is right here on the bottom there. Search are temporarily paused, to further notice. As you know, you guys, I've been trying to do everything I can to try to get the funding up for the forensics and things like that. There's also some other concerns and things that we have to take care of as a team. I have a team now. We're working together. We're getting a foundation off the ground. This foundation would do a whole lot, not just in terms of my son's finding my son, but also to help other families. So, some of this special operations search, desert searches will be on pause for now until we reassess a lot of things that will be working towards getting those avenues and things that we need out there. Again, you guys know I was working really hard trying to get the drone equipment that I need to keep the razors out there. As you know, I started cutting the searches down to every other week just to keep it afloat. You know what I'm saying? It's very expensive to operate that desert searches out there the way I need to properly have that. We got down to a point where we had to sparse on certain safety mechanisms. Of course, we need those raises out there. Someone may need a ride from wherever we're searching to get back to the command center and things like that. So going to restructure. So you guys can bear in it with me. The searches have not stopped. We're just, like I said, just restructuring it. And so you guys can bear in with us. My son is out there. If he's out there, I'm definitely going to find him. But as in from the standpoint of the organized searches, it's on pause for now. That don't stop me from looking for my son. I'm going to be continually doing that until this time comes where we bring the searches back. But I really need you guys to support and help. And I'm really grateful for all you guys who did support as you have already. I don't care if you came out there to the searches on one day. You're family. You're family to me. I thank God for you, because you know what? Every time I go out there in that desert, I see your faces. I see your faces. You're out there with me on my side. And, you never met Daniel, never met me. But you treat us just like your family, and I treat you like mine. So we are family. You're my extended family. I love you so much. I miss a lot of faces already. You know what I'm saying? Just imagining not being out there in that desert with you guys, and just actually have the conversation. So, but just thank you guys for, like I said, everything you have done from this point on. And like I said, the search is not over. The desert search is not over. It's just on pause for now, and we will be back. So I want y'all to know that part, and I want to get that out there, so you guys won't come out there on the weekend, because we won't be in the searches this weekend coming out there in the desert. But I will have the flyer distribution. That will be every week. You guys see these flyers here. You can we can come grab your flyers still. You can order, ask me send me a message for those flyers. You can just use this number down here below. Text me your address and things like that, information, get these flyers out to you. Or you can meet me on East McDowell Road in Phoenix here to grab those flyers. Also, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And if you want to make the flyers yourself, the PDF is there for you to create those flyers yourself. And, again, a lot of people kid me with this one, but if you guys can make it like the size of a postal card, that'll be very helpful. But ultimately, whatever's easier for you, just go ahead and go with it. Because I need to get the awareness out there for my son. I'm fighting really hard and doing everything I can to make sure that my son's story get out there. Because there's always going to be someone that knows something. They may not have heard that I'm still out here searching. I talked to people before this weekend passing out flyers. They say, hey, I thought you stopped the searches. I thought, you found your son. No, so we had to get that word going. Sometimes people just don't know. It could be someone that has actually saw something that day and they live somewhere else. We need to get that person awareness, let them know, hey, look, I'm out here looking for my son. That's the reason why I'm going to CrimeCon this weekend. I'm able to talk to the CrimeCon, in the event there. Will be a speaker there to talk about my son's story, about this case, and to get his name out there again. Be able to network. I have my team going with me out there. The network and to try to get, like I say, more interviews and things like that to get my son's story out there. So I'll be working really hard this weekend. Also, out there in Vegas. So, like I said, this is a whole big effort. Still working hard, and also working hard trying to make sure we get this foundation off the ground, and so we can be able to help other families. So it's a lot of work in the background, but I'm really grateful for you guys coming out this morning, being a part of this Q&A. Again, every time you come out, I'm really grateful. If you guys could please, just please don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button. That definitely helps with the algorithm. Again, just make sure this channel had grew really fast. I have over 1,000 subscribers now, really quickly, and I really thank you guys, because you know what, when you do that, it helps me along with this, getting that flyer out there, getting this information out there. Sometimes people, the word of mouth is everything. People just need to hear, so that's what this channel is all about. It's about Daniel. It's about Daniel, and also about other families. I'm still working on trying to get other families to come on and tell their stories and things like that. That's what the foundation will be providing, things like that, to help with other families, in all kind of different ways. But definitely want to invite other families too, because it's not just about my family and Daniel being missing. It's very hurtful for us. It's very difficult. At the same time, I always keep thinking about the families that I have to talk to a lot that tells me about their loved ones that's been missing for years, some of them, and some that just had some loved ones missing, or they know someone with a missing loved one. And these people need help. So, I'm willing to do my part in helping with that. So, again, you guys can please hit that like, share, subscribe button. That really helps with the algorithm. And also, yes, you see it on this back here behind me, but you have to see on the bottom of the screen there. That's the tip line, the anonymous tip line. If anybody know anything, I did get some tips, and we're working on some things right now. When I say we, I'm doing my own investigation, of course. I'm not waiting on the Buckeye Police Department to do anything, but they are also looking into some things that was put out in the Spear. So we are working on those type things, some tips and things like that. And you continue to put those tips out there. You know something, hear something. Please say something, because we need to find Daniel. So you call the tip line there, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Operator, take your call. You can stay anonymous if you like, or if you don't want to talk to them about it, again, right on the bottom of the screen there, you can text the word tip to that number, and you still can remain anonymous. So if you just want to talk directly to me and you want to give some type of advice, hey, think you need to check this place or do that, that's what the number below is for. Please utilize that number for things like that. So, or if you want to give me a tip, but you can't stay anonymous when using that number. So, but you can give me a tip if you like. You can stay anonymous. You got a burner phone or something like that. But other than that, I advise you to use the tip line, where you can stay anonymous if you want to stay anonymous. If you don't care about that, you use either or it's also, you want to help, please help find Daniel.com. Please go to the website. You get all the information you need. The website is still being currently updated because of all the changes about the searches and things like that. So working on that. I've been working on it last night, and there are going to be some little changes on that. So look for those changes. And also, and please, y'all, be ready for this foundations information to start popping up. So thank you all for coming in, this morning. I really appreciate you being out here this morning, being part of this Q&A from the YouTube side. Also, thank you, D Love, for coming out this morning. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Barry. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all your hard work and everything you do in that background. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Also, thank you again, D Love. Thank you, Rod, the creator, for being here this morning. How you doing this morning? I'm really grateful to see you out here. And I did finally get your message, by the way, and I will respond to you. So thank you so much for being here this morning. Also, Forever Curious, thank you for being here this morning, coming out to this Q&A. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Vodka. Thank you for being here. If I say your name incorrectly, I apologize, but thank you so much for coming here on this Q&A from the YouTube channel. I really appreciate everybody who's coming out this morning. Thank you also, Tub883, for coming out again. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jazz Raglan, for being out here this morning. I really appreciate that. Angelica, thank you for being here. Good morning to you. Also, Tea and Wildflowers. Thank you for coming out again. I really appreciate that. Some of you guys you coming out every morning to help support this channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jazz, for coming out this morning. Hello to you. Also, thank you, who said Jacinta Button. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming out, Mr. Short, and I appreciate everything you did for you and your wife for the desert searches out there, and being a part of that, and being out there so long. So we're still going to continue to talk about some things, but thank you so much for being your hard work and everything you have done in terms of helping with the searches and everything. It's your labor of love out there in that desert. So thank you. I really appreciate it. God bless you. And thank you. All right. Have Nikki O'Shire. Thank you for O'Shea. Thank you for being here this morning from the YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Nico, for being here. And if you guys have any questions, please. Thank you, Nico, for being here. I really appreciate it coming in for Facebook. If you guys have any questions, please put the big capital letter Q or a big question mark. Or also, you can use, like I said, just the word question in all caps, and then followed by your question. That way, when I come down, I actually know that you're asking a question, and I won't miss it. I won't skip over or something. Also, Thank you, Mary Vaughn, for being here this morning off of YouTube, off of Facebook. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Doohickey. Thanks for being here this morning. And also Lisa, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And let's see, anybody else? Anybody who came out, thank you so much for being here. Also, Heels in the Air. First time I seen you, but thank you so much for being here, being a part of the Q&A, and I'm really grateful that you decided to join. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Also, I have Esther Levy. Thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Let's see who else I got here. I have Sifta. Thank you for being here. Yes, it's a very hard case. Saying, every day, just have to live this thing every day is very difficult. Every morning, every day, saying, especially when I don't have the answers that I'm looking for just yet. I have some answers. I have a lot of answers, but just the ones that, still having difficulty when it comes to knowing where my son is located. It's very hard. It's very hard just to even imagine what the rest of my family is going through mentally when we talk about those things. And also, you guys, thank you so much again for the prayers for my family in our bereavement, saying with the loss of my auntie. I really appreciate all those who wrote, hit my cell phone number up and gave your condolences and things like that, and your love for the family. So I really appreciate that. It means a lot. I'm telling you, with everything going on, you guys reach out like that and say stuff like that. It means a ton a lot. It really means a lot to me and my family. I share a lot of things with them also. So thank you so much for just reaching out. Take your time out and just writing. Take your time out and sending a text. I mean, those or leaving a voicemail. Those things means a lot. I don't take those for granted. You don't have to do that, and you do it. You decide to do it. So thank you so much. Also, thank you, Brenda, for being here this morning from Facebook. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming in. All right. Okay. I have Sophia here. Thank you, Sophia, for being here this morning. And thank you for being part of that member of the team and board. I really appreciate it. God bless you for your hard work. And like I said, you're always coming out, even though you have your own business to run, you still take time out to make sure you're helping here. So I'm really grateful for that. All right. Let's see who else I have here. Lola, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for coming out again. Thank you for coming out and continue to support. Also, Robin Gentry, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much. And you guys, you're in the comment section. Please utilize that. If you guys have any questions, please utilize that question mark or that word question. I don't get all the questions, all the stuff on my comment section here. I'm using Streamline, and sometimes I think I'm missing some of the people that comes on, and I'll say things in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, please, moderators probably can help out with that to make sure I get those questions. But anyway, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much again for being here this Q&A. Again, I will be out there at Crime Con this weekend to speak about my son's case, and it's very good to be able to get some kind of information out there. More, just keep it going. You can't stop. I can't stop. I can't afford to stop. As long as my son is out there somewhere, I can't afford to stop. Trying. I got to at least try and keep trying. I'm not an expert at this. Unfortunately, I'm getting better at some things, but I'm not an expert, and I'm really just devastated. Had to continue on to search and coming up empty-handed. So I rather when I left the searches here out there in the desert, for instance, had to put it on pause. Now it's very hard. It's very hard mentally for me. Just a thought of the possibility of my son lying out there on the ground out there somewhere, like we found a lot of other human remains out there. Just the thought of that is very devastating. It's very devastating and very hurtful. Just imagine that, and that's what keeps me wanting to. I was check every spot there is out there, because I don't have those answers, and but we have to check every area that's reasonable and things like that. And my main goal when I'm out there, also when you guys come out, is your safety, and so I want to make sure that you guys are safe.
make sure that, saying you have everything you need when you do come out there to support. So really grateful for everybody who did. Like I said, last summer, had people, man, sometimes we have almost 200 some people come out to the searches where we could break those searches down into different sectors, different groups and things like that. We had a lot of many ATV, UTVs, even horses, people on horseback, just all kinds of things out there. And I'm really grateful for every last person, like I said, who came out to do those. So thanks again. I really appreciate it, you guys. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I reached out to the community and the community reached back. So also thank you guys for signing the petition. I do have see how many people I got, 114,042 people have signed that petition so far. Maybe still moving right now, but that's what I checked this morning. And those are not just numbers. I say it again. You are people, and when I see that's 114,000 people who signed that petition, and there's 114,000 people who's speaking right now, saying they want to see something. They want to see these law enforcement agents doing something. They want to see the FBI come into this case, or they want to see, like I advocate for too, is changing the way that the policing approach missing person cases. Like I told you guys at the beginning, if the Buckeye Police Department would have acted quickly, saying, I think this would have been a whole different ball game. I wouldn't be right here right now searching for my son. We'd have found him. They would have took it just as seriously as I would. So, that whole 12-hour wait when the family know that something is wrong. I knew something's wrong after 6 hours. I didn't need 12. I didn't need additional 6 hours to know that something is wrong with my son. That is out of character for him. I don't care if he's an adult or not. It's sad, that people can, reduce people down into categories because you're an adult or you're a child and you're a missing person. It's less serious. The seriousness goes down tremendously. I get it. We are grown people. We do have the right to take off if we like. But you know what? It's also a thing with knowing. It is like, again, if an officer, the situation was an officer out there who was at work that day, and his fellow officer said, yeah, like a little odd or strange, whatever one they want to come up with. And this officer just, waved off to the police department or out here on the scene out there, somewhere out there doing a call, and they drove farther into the desert. He ain't never been seen again. Come on, guys, that for sure. I don't care how grown he is. They would have had every law enforcement agency, everything, from the FBI's, whoever, all kind of agencies out there all over the country. You'll see all kind of blue shirts and blue helicopters and everything else out here searching for that one officer until they found him. They would have found him immediately. And it wouldn't have been no hours or days and things like that. They would have, hey, this guy went out there in the desert. Something's wrong. I know something wrong. And they would have go looking for him. They would say, hey, well, he's a grown man. He'll come back if he want to come back, And they find a cruiser right here turned over and everything. The officer, his badge, his gun, lying on the ground out there, his underwear, socks. And they say, well, he had a head injury and he just walk off in the story, and they give his family back everything that belongs to him and tell him, oh, well, he was a good officer. And you have yourself a good one, that type deal. It would roll like that. My son is just as more important and just as much as important. He's not better than anybody, and nobody's definitely not better than my son. And, he should have the same treatment as if it was one of their own. Like I say, I'm former military. My son had the same treatment as the same I would do for my battle buddies out there when in the war, when it's Afghanistan, meaning that, we train and taught. We do not leave our battle buddies. We don't leave an American soldier on that ground out there in the desert. Things happen out there. We're out there on those missions. We will recover that person. We will not leave without that person, regardless. And you know what? And that's what I'm doing for my son. I've been here since June 26th. He's my son, and I'm not leave my son down on the ground or wherever. So thank you guys again. Going back to the comments. If you guys have any questions, please, ask your questions. I really can use those for this Q&A. If you have them, please use them.
And don't forget to put a question mark there. Thank you, V, for being here this morning, coming out to this Q&A, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, She-Rose Nation. You've been very valuable, and your questions have been very good. I still won't forget the other question that you have had the other weekend. So, I really appreciate it. You definitely been a part of that. But I want to read your comment there. It says, if I was closer, I'd be out there every weekend for as long as it takes. I'm still going to try to come out. Ellie has got to do better. We need laws change, and we do. And that's what I'm advocating for, the laws change. And also, I really appreciate that your heart and your desire to be out here to these searches, because you know what? They will be back. The searches will be back, but it'll be better funded and things like that. So we got some stuff going on where those will be back. But thank you so much for your desire to come out now. I really appreciate it. And you're right. They do need to have some changes in the way the policing is. Because you see what it does to me and my family. Hey, I know Daniel. I don't care if he's an adult or not. And if he did want to go out on his own somehow, and you see his clothes down there, you know something not right with his mind. If you're saying he did all this himself, he crashed his own vehicle, took his clothes off, or whatever the case may be, why give everything back to me and tell me to go home back to South Carolina where I take it? Then what? He's missing, and he did that to himself. Now what? We walking around naked. We do better with animals. You know what I'm saying? The animal, one of their dogs run out from the yard or whatever and run down the street. They're not gonna say, well, dog is gone, I get another one. They go out there and look for that dog. I'm saying, so we're human beings and we should be treated a lot better. You just don't do that. And so they do need to do better. Also, thank you for that. So sad that we need to have agencies specifically designed to police. They should not be able to do it themselves. And you're right. I think the Attorney General's office or some of these other persons that I'm working with, working on trying to get involved. Yeah, you're right. Somebody, we're their supervisors. That's why I tell you guys, sometimes you can't wait on these agencies. You got to make them do what you need them to do. And that's why I'm working hard. It may take some time. You got to say, hey, Mr. Robinson, you've been doing this going on, get ready to go on 10 months. Oh man, wow. It has been 10 months since my son been missing. Just look at the date. Time go by really fast, you guys. Yeah, but just the whole fact, saying it's you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting. We're their supervisors. They're taking tax dollars that we paying for. We're paying for their paychecks. We're paying for their gun they got on their side. We're paying for their badge. We're paying for the office equipment, whatever the case may be. We're paying for the vehicle that they're driving in. So we are their supervisors, and you have to say something. You're not going to let a company run, and you're the CEO of that company, and you just let your workers run rampant and do what they want to do, and don't do anything what they're supposed to do, what you got them on that he hired them to do. So the chief of police and whoever they are, the mayor, all of them, working on our tax dollars, they should be working for us. So you got to push them and don't take no for answer, and definitely just don't believe anything they say. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people put things in to make themselves look good. And they got to verify things. They have to verify and show proof of things themselves. I want to see some receipts, things like that. So I just don't take words for somebody's, hey, sitting behind the phone to say, hey, I'm out here looking for your son now. And they just sitting behind the desk. I don't know you out there looking for my son. I don't see you looking for my son. But that's one thing for sure. I know some people don't have that ability to do so, but you have to be also involved in your person's case. When I say involved, it may take you to go do some things I'm doing. Go out and search. Go out to put these flyers out. It takes some efforts. It takes some efforts and things like that. So it's just not going to fall on you. You know what I'm saying? Some people get lucky and people do come back, or something happened where people show back up or they find the person, things like that. We had that young man that was found up for 3 years. So things do happen where a person can come back, but you just don't. Well, for me personally, I feel like you can't just sit back and fold your hands and don't do anything, or sit back and say you have faith and God's going to bring this person back, and you're supposed to just fold. Now, like again, I tell you, faith that works is dead. You can have all the faith you want to. God just don't work that way. Saying things don't work that way in life. Saying you can't just say some money is going to fall in your pocket, or this is going to happen to you just without doing some kind of work. Saying so you have to go out there and really put some effort into it. And then you'd be blessed for your efforts, and that's when things happen. So Anyway, I have a question here from Pamela Garrison. Thanks so much for coming out for this Q&A. First of all, for Facebook, a question: why would police not think there's foul play with his socks being found in two different places at distance apart? Always been a good question for me, because of course, people, like I said, they would say, "Hey, look, Mr. Robinson, you're biased." Yes, I'm biased. I'm supposed to be biased because I know my son. I can go by the character of my son. I know my son. I've been there since. I can't speak for every father, but I know I have been there from birth, since my son's birth. When he came out of his mother's womb, I was there. I know my son, and so when I look at a situation like that, and this also showed me this picture that you guys see right here. This is one of the pictures, but this is not the first picture they showed me. It's similar to that. They showed me that picture, and he explained that my son clothes on the ground to all this what he thought his theories was, whatever. Only thing I could look at that and say from my eyes is foul play. Of course, they try to explain to me why they say they don't see no criminality into that. We ain't have no evidence of criminality. That's what Chief Hall would say on CNN. We can't make up evidence. Like, okay, you can't make up evidence, but we gave you evidence. My investigator came in at the time, my former investigator, and gave them not only words, they gave them physical evidence, and they still refusing to move. And that's what he said. He said that comment after they received physical evidence, and to say, like you said, that shows different. The sock is one sock that matches the sock in the evidence bag is found in a different location. Weeks after they collect their stuff from the site. The red transfer paint on the vehicle too. His clothes just being turned inside out, laying on in a pile. Like if you don't want to support a theory of a brain injury, who with a brain injury would sit there and take their clothes off and put it in a pile? You just be slinging it all over the place because you're hot. You're trying to get it off your body real fast. They claim you think you're hot. You're getting off your body really quickly. It is a whole thing. And then the vehicle, they did all these tons of all these searches they claim they did, and haven't come up with a construction cone, haven't come up with a skull that we found near this area, but don't think that's suspicious when the vehicle finally showed up. I mean, they talking against them their own self. Hey, and then when you ask them a question why you didn't find this vehicle, which they're trying to say, well, we believe the vehicle was out there the whole time. We just didn't see it. The terrain was so lush and so big, and it's probably hidden from the sky. Come on, guys. You guys, I could show you the footage y'all just seen before this Q&A, and also I can show you. As a matter of fact, we can do that. Go through some of the things I do have, and show you those drone footages that they provided, and you'll look at that and come on now, you see the vehicle there. Why you couldn't see it all those other times where with a drone now, you couldn't see it using a helicopter if it was there. What I'm saying? They telling on their own selves. They know that vehicle wasn't there. That vehicle was planted there. They know that, but they don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that. They don't want to move on, and that's my opinion about that. So you know what? That's a good question. I don't think anything would convince this department that there's foul play. I don't care what it is, because the reason why I know that, in my opinion, because they gave me everything. They gave me the vehicle. They gave me all the clothing. They washed their hands of Daniel a long time ago before the story went national and before you guys heard of it. I've been working my behind off to try to make sure the story went out, and it did. It got out there, and because of that, people start calling. And then all of a sudden, now they have an investigation. How you can have an investigation when you don't have anything? So you gave everything to me. So what kind of investigation you having? And then the other thing that shows you guys that they're really doubling down on their own thoughts that is not a criminal matter, is because they went and got their own S&M reconstructionist when I already had one who gave them all this hard physical evidence. And some of the evidence was their own evidence, reading their own black box data back to them. And they refusing their own data and go get some S&M reconstructionist who came on the scene, never seen my son's vehicle, never touched his clothing, never touched his vehicle, never touched the clothing, never even seen it with his own eyes, my son's vehicle, but looking at pictures and making a judgment call off of pictures, off of third-party pictures. Then go to some dealership and ask workers at a dealership, then go to the company. I'm a father, and I went to the company to reach out to them to ask them certain questions. This is a police department. Why they didn't go to the company? When I say the company, the manufacturers of Jeep, and ask them that question about how the dashboard mileage will match the computer, and they know what the answer would have been. And they know that Jeep makers will be like, yeah, it does match, because if it didn't, there'd be a recall. I don't think nobody in this country have a recall on a Jeep vehicle that said that the dashboard and the computer don't match. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you that there's no recalls out there, and Jeep would not appreciate the Buckeye Police Department putting it out there that they have flaws in their system. This is about going to some worker at some dealership and asking them some questions. So that's the things I'm saying. You guys really, I'm just a person that look at everything in a certain way, and if it don't make sense to me, they don't have any logic behind it, then I think you're hiding something. You know what I'm saying? So that's how my brain works. Okay, I got Yeti Khan. Thank you so much for being here from South Carolina. I really appreciate you coming out, and you coming out to be a part of the Q&A. And that's my opinion too. I do have that opinion, the same opinion you have. Some foul play there, and that everything is a certain way. But you know what? As time going by, this department is allowing that things to not go in the way it needs to go. So thank you again for being here. Also, thank you, D Love, for your question. Guys, if you have any questions, do like D Love have here. You got the word question first before his question. That helps out, fine. And also, don't forget, please, by all means, if you guys can hit that like and subscribe button, that will help. That would definitely help the algorithms and things like that, and get this channel out a lot farther. I'm really still working really hard to try to get Daniel's name out there. So if you guys can do that for me, I really appreciate it. And don't forget that tip line there, that stroll on the bottom of the screen. If you guys have a tip, please utilize that tip line to give any kind of information that you have, because I really need help to find my son. I'm still out here since June 26th searching for him. And, I've been relying on you guys ever since. And you guys have been coming through for me. You know anything, heard anything, or you can get that word out to try to find someone who may have seen or heard anything about what happened to my son or know something. Please, by means, encourage them to also utilize that tip line. So thank you, D-Love, for your question. Mr. Robinson, is there another city council meeting soon? If so, will you be speaking there? Yes, I think they have one twice a month. And yes, I'm prepared to do that again. I'm prepared to do it again. I'm not sure, but yes, I'm prepared to do that again. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I went out there to voice myself. And one of the reasons why I went to that city council meeting is because I've been here, like I said, since June 26th. And this is the city of Buckeye. City of Buckeye. You would think out of courtesy or disrespect, any kind of respect, any kind of empathy, any kind of something. You'll think of the whole city officials. You got a mayor, you got assistant mayor I seen up there. You have all city council members. You have the city manager sitting there, assistant city manager. You got secretaries. You got the chief of police. You got all that kind of stuff in that one city to get the city running, right? And not one of them have ever called me and say, "Hey, I'm sorry what happened to your son. I just wanted to thank you for coming out to find these human remains in our city, bring some kind of closure to somebody else's family. I know you out there or something. Just say hello to me or something. To say something, just acknowledge that they know I'm out there in that desert in their city with hundreds of volunteers out there since I've been starting the searches. And also a lot of them live out there in Buckeye and come out there to them searches and being a part. And these people couldn't even say hello to me. Couldn't send letters. I sent letters out to Chief Hall to force these officers out to my. They don't support the searches. I had to force them out to come out to two of the searches. They came out empty-handed on the first one, and the second one they still came out partially empty-handed, and then had to end up doing something later in that week. But the fact is, they have never come out to support the searches or anything. I don't have no law enforcement support that you see in these cases where I hate to bring those back up, but that it ain't the Petito family's fault. Of course, I keep saying it over and over again. They have nothing to do with what I'm saying. But I'm saying you don't see that support for my son's case like they did in that case. I mean, every agency you could think of was out there looking for these two people, especially the murderer. They was out there looking for him, spending thousands of dollars. People look at the GoFundMe that I was able to raise this far and say, man, that's a lot. It is a lot. That's a lot of money. But they use twice as much as money, even way more than that, just looking for a murderer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying these guys don't want to put a dime out there, but you guys put that money out there. That's your money, that GoFundMe money sitting out there. You guys donate it. And they have the courtesy to even reach out to me and say, hey, look, this is to you guys. Look, I understand you had to go out here to get some GoFundMe money to get these searches going, to keep it running and things like that. And they can't even say hello to me. Hello, just acknowledge these people who's on the ground. So that was very disrespectful to me. So I had to go in their face, to make a long story short with that. Go in their face and say, hey, look, you're gonna acknowledge me one way or the other. I'm here in your city, searching for my son. I've been conducting this amount of searches. Been finding human remains out here in your city, and that your police department should have been out there finding. And you can't even say hello to me. That type deal. So, and they still haven't said anything after that meeting. I still haven't gotten anything. I haven't got so much as a email from them yet. And like I said, I've been emailing them. When I say emailing them, I emailed Chief Hall, and I was CC the city manager in that email, and some of these other officials, and they still haven't responded back. Being CC'd and some of those things, so they know I'm here. They know what's going on in their city, and they have yet to acknowledge that, to even being a human being, to say something, saying some kind of empathy there. That just tells me a lot about a person. It's been 10 months now, and you can't even say anything to me. That tells me a lot about that city, tells me a lot about the people who's running it, that type deal. So, all right. I have Esther Levy. Thank you so much for your question. You guys have questions, you can do what Esther did there. Had a big Q there, or the question or question mark. That really helps. And I really appreciate you giving the question out this morning. Do you think the vehicle turned over more than once trying to go up the hill? There's a photo from a distance of Buckeye website. If you zoom in, it looks like a print from one of the side front windows. Now, the windshield has two indentions in those right there behind me. We look at right here, that's one there, and then there's one down the bottom. Those are indents, like as it's something that pressed inside the vehicle. My estimate reconstruction, we can determine that something was thrown at it, or somebody could took something and bash it. I mean, but it was definitely two impressions on both sides of those windshields, and to the point where whatever it was hit the top line of that windshield and kind of the metal part kind of damaged there and rolled down the windshield. So we do have that. But as in a total rollover, no, that was never a total rollover of that vehicle, no matter what Buckeye is saying that. I've seen rollover vehicles. Y'all seen them too. Y'all go out there and out there in traffic, and you see some car on his hood. On his roof up there. You already know what it looks like when they get that car back on the wheels. It's never shaped the same as that way. It gets smashed down, and those are rollovers. First of all, the top of that vehicle don't have any scratches or anything like that. The side and the front does, because something did damage that part there, but no, it was never been a total rollover. In fact, the glass that's coming out the driver's door right there, that's the only glass that's broken out of that vehicle, amazingly. Now, if you think it was a rollover, a lot of glass would have been broken, busted all out on the passenger side too. All that would have been smashed. The passenger side landed on the ground, and none of those glass broken out. Nothing broke, nothing cracked. And also, I can tell you there is some glass on the ground out there. Where I look at it, that was stage 2. Because you can't explain why that glass. Buckeye told me that the glass that's on the ground that you guys know about, that came from the sunroof. That's what that was always told to me until I got my accident reconstructionist, who found out that vehicle don't even have a sunroof glass. It's only have a panel. They don't have sunroof glass, and so they don't know what they're talking about. So that let me know they're doing half jobs anyway, because they had me to believe that there was a sunroof glass on that ground out there. Then I was explaining. Then they're trying to have to explain what happened to the driver's door glass. That is busted out. Where's that glass? You know what I'm saying? Well, they didn't know. I can tell you there's no glass in the vehicle. Looking at the vehicle, think if that glass came out that side window on the driver's side, there'll be some glass in the vehicle. When I say glass, I ain't gonna say in total no glass in the vehicle, but it's so minor. If you take the glass you can sweep up in that vehicle, you probably wouldn't even get a teaspoon of glass. You know what I'm saying? It's no glass in the vehicle. So that glass is busted out somewhere else. And in my opinion, it's helped to be seen that glass on the ground has been placed there also. It don't even match where it should be at and how it got there. So that's one of the things. But anyway, yeah, but as in that vehicle turning total over, no, it's never been a total roll. It's been a partial rollover. It just roll over on the side. So thank you for your question. I really appreciate you being here this morning for this Q&A again. Thank you so much for your question, Esther. All right. If you guys have a question, please put a quick Q there, the word question there, like D-Love did here. I can get down as I'm coming down the comment section. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm really grateful for you guys coming out for this Q&A this morning and answering these questions. I love to answer these questions for you as much as I can. Those I can answer because of some kind of part of, if you ask a question that's dealing with what I'm trying to find out, investigative standpoint, I would not be able to answer those. Or if I just don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But thank you, D-Love, for your question. Mr. Robinson did Daniel's job. Make sure they all went out to the field first with first aid kits. I'm thinking with your question, I believe you're asking if when Daniel first went missing, did they go out there when they you probably assuming they went out there to search, and when they went out with any kind of first aid kit to help. They didn't go out and search out there at all. You know, when Daniel went missing, the only thing they did was, like I said, one of the workers, Daniel's friends from the job, came out to my daughter's apartment to inquire about him. So, and he only knew her place of residence because Daniel took him there before. So, but as in the company itself, no, they did not do anything, no kind of search efforts or anything out there for Daniel. That's why I was out here coming from South Carolina to do those things myself. But no, no first aid kit and things like that. I can tell you once I got my searches started, they did have some workers from that company. Like I said, again, I don't know if it was a company mandate. The company sent those workers out there to help me in my searches. But I do know some of the workers decided on themselves. They all got together. I guess it's at least about roughly 11 of them, I believe. I'm roughly speaking, I can't remember the numbers, but they come out. They used to come out early on when I first started my searches, and they used to come out every week to help, out there in the searches and things like that, and help man the gate and things like that. Since then, since last year, I say roughly October, they have fallen off except for my son's supervisor, his boss, and his wife will come out sometime, but then now she don't come out, but he comes out every once in a while until now that I stopped searches. So, but yeah, thank you for your question. I do have one here from T and Flowers. Mr. Robinson, can you contact the FBI directly? I contact them all the time. I contact them for several reasons. And every time, I kind of get that thing where the FBI can't come into this case and they need to be in there. And Buckeye know they need to. And they just, in my opinion, they're so, I don't want to make an opinion, but I'm just going to keep that to myself. But you know what? Yes, they had to be invited in by the Buckeye Police Department. And so the Buckeye Police Department is not inviting them in. Like I said, they did this case review. I wrote this striking letter, very good letter, and had my attorney to approve it, sent it to Chief Hall, demanding the FBI to come into my son's case and the reasons why. I have great reasons. My son went missing in the crime scene. Anytime we find all these human remains out there, the ones we have found, is a crime scene. They continually, to this day, find just recently, about a month ago now, found someone out there deceased. So it's a crime scene area. My son went missing in suspicious circumstances, according to the chief of police, Chief Hall on CNN. And I put that in that letter and describe it to the T. You know what I'm saying? All the reasons why. He couldn't help but agree to that because, like I said, I always CC the city managers and everybody else involved into those anything I sent to Chief Hall. And so he came back and said, yeah, I have the case review with the FBI. My attorney immediately when he sent that message to us back, response, immediately asked to be a part of that case review. Just let me go alone. If they don't want to turn in there, I need to be a part of that case review. I'm here as a father. I'm a family member here. I need to be part of that case review. Of course, they did not reply back to me because they, in my opinion, was being underhanded. They talked to the FBI themselves. I don't know what they told to them or what they described or what they did, but they made sure I wasn't there. When I wasn't there, they come back the next week when I was getting ready to check on them. We try to give them a little time to see if they're gonna let it, have us have me be a part of it. I get a message back from their detective that they felt they said they spoke to the FBI. The FBI said they're not coming into my son's case because you, Mr. Robinson, you're doing such a great job on your own. They don't need to come in, right? Of course, I don't believe that. I don't believe the FBI talk like that. I'm not that great of a search and rescue for my son that I don't need the FBI into my son's case. I don't believe that. I don't really believe the case review. So I've been searching. I've been talking to the FBI, trying to get those kind of answers. So yes, I talk to them constantly, trying to make sure, see if I can get them into my son's case. But like I said, it's definitely would be an invitation from the Buckeye Police Department. Also, thank you for that question. Also, thank you, Tanya, for being here this morning. Thank you for your prayers from the Facebook. I do have a question here from D Love. Thank you, D Love, again for being here this morning. Mr. Robinson, will we be able to comment in upcoming in this upcoming city council meeting? Last time could only listen in. I would like. I mean, I can't speak for those people there. I can't say they changed up some stuff when I believe they realized I was coming there. Of course, they all got that little 3-minute thing, so you can't really say much in 3 minutes. But you know what? It was 3 minutes enough to say, "Hey, I was here." But as in the comments, I doubt it. I doubt it. They put some things so tight. They kind of changed some of the rules. I don't want to say they changed the rules, but they really changed it on their website. They added whatever they want on that website to kind of change some of those rules. I thought I'm assuming they was anticipating I was going to have a whole influx of people wanting to speak like yourself. And so they changed it up to have 3 minutes and only have a total of 15 minutes. So that kind of narrowed it down to how many people can come up to the mic and do a three-minute whatever they want to say. So, but yeah, as in comments, I don't know. I'm not sure. But, yes, thank you all for your support and things like that. I really appreciate it because they did have a lot of people wanting support and wanting to, really say something to this department, to these officials that's supposed to be running the Buckeye. All right, Sheroes Nation, thank you again for your question. And thank you for being here this morning. Richard says someone from the job kept calling for the pictures. Have you considered tracing that number? I feel it may have been Ken or someone else involved, pretending to be the job, trying to see what they can have. It could be, like you said, it could have been anybody calling it and saying, "Hey, they from Matrix" and things like that. I don't know. The rancher didn't describe to me any numbers and phone numbers and things like that. But I do know, yeah, he said he's really frustrated. Him and his wife couldn't barely eat dinner. For them calling in so much, asking for these pictures before I get them. That's the reason why he said he wanted to make sure I got them first, make sure he got them in my hands, and also before the Buckeye Police Department get them. So he wanted me to have them. Because at the time, everybody knew that the Buckeye Police Department only gave me one picture. It's all kind of disrespectful stuff they do. Gave me one picture at the time. It wasn't this picture here. I got this when I had to demand those. But gave me one picture at the time. I was walking around. That's the first picture I released to the news articles and news stations and things like that when I was trying to get my son's case out there. He wanted to make sure I had everything he had from the scene before the Buckeye Police Department showed up. So I have those pictures. His pictures matched their pictures, so nothing was moved around. The pictures he do have look similar to this. Everything's pretty much the same. I don't see nothing different. Only thing I see different with the Buckeye Police Department, they've been moving things around. Of course, I don't know why, but they do have some things that move around, like the boxes in the vehicle and some other little things. So they do move some things around. But as in this rancher, yeah, he's the one to make sure that I got those pictures. So I'm really grateful that I did get those. At least I had those at those times. Like I said, very disrespectful department to provide me with one until I had to demand pictures in the meeting. Chief Hall kept using plurals. We took pictures with an S, and I got really uptight. And where y'all got, well, I only had one picture, that type deal. So that's why I ended up getting this picture, for instance, and the many more that they released to me. So it's supposed to be all of them that he told me. Anyway, thanks for your question. I have one from T and Flowers, Wildflowers. Mr. Robinson, will Buckeye Police Department correct the mistakes in the police report that you identified? I hope they do. First of all, one of the biggest thing they need to correct is me saying that my son is in love with a woman he didn't know. That really pisses me off. Because that's not something my son ain't even said nothing like that. So why would I say something like that? He never described anything like that to me about that woman or any woman. In fact, my son, anyway, my son would not have said anything like that. That's not Daniel. And he didn't ever say anything like that to me. So yeah, they need to retake some of that stuff, a lot of stuff out. One other thing my daughter is really uptight about that they put in that they saying she said also. So, they need to fix that report. Because like I said, even some of those lines they need to make sure they report matches too, because I do have two reports, supposed to be the same report, and they changed some sentences and things like that in the report, and in my opinion, for their favor. So they need to fix that too. All right. She Rose Nations. Question. Continue. Because there wouldn't be a reason for the job to call him, and I'd be anxious to see what the number traced back. Yeah, you're right. I wish I could. I don't know if I would have that kind of be able to get that kind of information from that rancher. I haven't talked to that rancher in since last year sometime, and I wouldn't know how to be able to trace his cell phone and get those information and things like that. But if it's an investigation from the Buckeye Police Department, maybe they could do that with a warrant or something like that to try to get that kind of information. But like I said, no matter what they see at the scene, no matter what you guys say, no matter what you guys see with your own eyes, that department made it clear they're not going to ever see it as a possible criminal case or a criminal case at all. You know what I'm saying? Because they're doing everything they can to make sure it stays that Daniel wrecked this vehicle on his own. He's been gone for 10 months now. He wrecked this vehicle on his own. He had this brain injury that made him shred his clothes off. He's surviving that desert, but naked. He might be out there still yet somewhere, but he will be, Mr. Robinson, back to come get his things. I'm going to get his things, give his vehicle, because he's coming back for his things, and, y'all can have at it. So, and they did everything from this point. In my opinion, they did everything from this point to make sure that their story and their own theory remain the same. You know what I'm saying? Even coming up to a point where you can't make up evidence. Nobody making up no evidence. The evidence is on the freaking ground. The evidence right here in my possession, which is the vehicle, the clothing, the red transfer paint, everything from that scene is on the ground. That's the evidence there. The additional 11 miles on the vehicle to the what they pulled from the vehicle, 11 additional miles on the vehicle to the 4 to 6 initial cycles after the airbags are deployed, to the fact that you can't even get the speed up to the mileage with the airbag deployed when the vehicle hit at that, I think it was like 30 some miles per hour. You can't even get it on that terrain, going down to retried it. I mean, just everything, all the physical and all the evidence that's there, and the fact that the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior to the July the 19th. From the rancher's testimony, they don't want that in the report. From the rancher's testimony, the vehicle wasn't even there. And they obviously wasn't there. They didn't even find it, that they did it. They did a Civil Air Patrol, quote, Civil Air Patrol search, and also did the Phoenix Firebird helicopter search. And they didn't find anything because it wasn't there. Right. But then at the same time, they're saying, it was there for 30 days. Like, we just didn't see it, type deal. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you, from that Civil Air Patrol search on July the 9th, 10 days before the vehicle showed up here on the scene, the Buckeye Police Department have it already on their map that the vehicle is going to be showing up at the scene. So if you guys can go on our website, I keep saying it again, I say it for a reason, and I already put it out there to the media. Nobody's saying anything about it, but that's a problem for me. Whenever you can, when I look at this map and I can see that you already have the vehicle marked on your map where it's going to be before it actually was there. You know what I'm saying? 10 days prior. So you're able to say, hey, this is where this vehicle be. We've been searching this area, but at the same time said the vehicle's not there. We didn't find nothing. We didn't see nothing. But you got it marked on your map already, pre-marked on your map that it's there. So, that's very. They had to explain that. That department had to explain that. Nobody's saying much about it. I'm gonna keep throwing it out there every once in a while, but nobody's actually saying anything about it. So those are some of the reasons why what you said earlier, or somebody said earlier, who police the police? You know what I'm saying? That type deal, that's when that kind of deal should come in. And so, we'll work on that too. But thank you so much for your question, Sheroes Nation. I really appreciate it, you coming out and being a part. Thank you, Pamela, for being here this morning. That's a lot that you had to say there. I don't know if that's a comment or that's it is a comment. Okay, and thanks for being here this morning. I do have a question here from Sifta. Was there fingerprinting done on a Jeep at any time? Yes, it was fingerprinting done. Okay, when that vehicle showed up on the 19th, on the 20th, they turned that vehicle over to me. No fingerprinting. The stuff you see on the ground here, that's exactly why they took the picture like that. You don't see any forensic markers or anything. They would never ever be able to produce any pictures with those forensic markers and things like that. Cause they never did. They told me they never did any kind of forensic work at the scene. Now I have that meeting. I have a witness there was there with me, and I have recordings, and they told me personally. So the thing is, they didn't have any forensic work done. That really made me upset in that meeting. Just a couple of days after they turned this vehicle to me, I had a meeting with Chief Hall, Chief Sanders, and all the rest of them, and their whole staff out there and in Buckeye in their boardroom. And one of the things I demanded, because I was upset they didn't do any forensic work on my son's vehicle. My son is a person. He's a human being. And you're going to do some work. I'm just different, And I demanded it. They got in their report. We did fingerprinting. And some people, oh, man, they did some kind of forensic work on. I demanded that. They ain't going to put it on their report. Well, the father demanded us to do some fingerprinting on this vehicle. But that's exactly what happened. You guys, so y'all read that in the report. I demand. That's something I asked for. They weren't going to do it. They already gave me the vehicle. I asked them to put a tarp on that vehicle because in case it rained, I didn't know much about Arizona at the time. Just in case it rained, I want to make sure that the rain didn't get on that vehicle when I get it out of there. They did say, hey, because I was going to bring a tarp myself from an auto parts store. They said, no, we're going to put a tarp on it ourselves, and we're going to go ahead and do this fingerprinting that I asked for. When they got this fingerprinting done, I still don't have the answers to what they did, what they found on their fingerprinting to this point. So they have done it, and then they kept quiet. They don't even talk to me. Like I told you, I called the Buckeye Police Department with the situation that I'm saying we're looking into tilt, and to try to reach out to try to help some way. He reached out to me. They did reach out to me first in a text message, and which I think it's like I'm saying, it is so disrespectful the way this department deals with things. Text me, and of course the way they text me, I'm not going to go into that, but it was very disrespectful. It was very out of order. And so I had told him, don't text me that way. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, make a long story short, that these guys, like I said, I reached out to them, called, didn't answer the phone, didn't call me back. So he couldn't call me. Oh, I can't call you because whatever the case may be, but text me. And I still haven't got a phone call. Like I say, them guys are not going to call back or talk and things like that. So I just have to deal with them the way we just deal with each other. Deal with each other, that department, and I deal with them the way I deal with them. Thank you for your question. X David Girl 81. Thank you for being here this morning. You do have a question here. Have you talked to Daniel's neighbors? I have. I talked to his neighbors, and that was early on when my son first went missing. That's before I can get into my son's apartment. And yes, I did inquire about how he moved around that apartment complex, and I did get a lot of answers to that. I didn't have anything that suggests any foul play or anything going on. with his neighbors. So I'll thank you so much for that question. All right, and I have a question here from Nicole. I really appreciate you being here from Facebook. What time did you show up at the second well site in the morning when he went missing? Or what time did he show up? Well, no, according to that worker, it was roughly around 9 o'clock that morning, and they got out of there 10 minutes later. Daniel did. So yeah, it's around 9 o'clock that morning. He says that my son, and I can't tell you guys. I know a lot more about that, but yeah, that's his testimony, and I'm gonna leave it like that for right now. So, all right, thanks for your question. I got one from Yeti Khan. Okay, well, I thought it was a question mark there, but anyway, what is the percent of ground walk covered? How much more ground is needed covering? Well, we did over 30,000 acres of land. You guys, you look at the video I did before, before I did the Q&A, I put it on the intro. It's a lot of it's so intimidating. The areas that could be searched and need to be searched out there, and we did all that searching. When I say we, the volunteers, we did all that searches, and for me, very intimidating. When I say intimidating, you think you're done, and it's got some more areas that could be searched and need to be searched. That's in reasonable distance from where Daniel was last seen. You got to imagine we have two. It started off when I first started my searches. It started off just with the well site where Daniel went missing. So the search was based on that. And then once the vehicle right here showed up right here in this ravine and everything, that weekend that my searches, I spanned it out to cover that and where this vehicle could have been. Then when I got my private investigator, when he found that 11 additional miles, then it started going even farther to cover this 11 additional miles and things like that. So having all that in mind from the science of a person walking, and the only way we know he walked with no clothes on, no shoes on his feet. Even if they had shoes on his feet, we kind of did it based on those type parameters, and that give us a lot of land to search. And we still have some area on the west side of the Hansappa River that need to be searched because able to get across when it's dry, those riverbeds and things like that. So it's a lot. It's very intimidating. It's very hard. And I'm really uptight that I had to postpone these searches right now. It's kind of hard to make that. It was a hard decision for me to make, because it's urgent for me mentally if my son is out there somehow on that ground. Just thinking about it like that, it's very hard to even imagine my son is out there on that ground. We found some human remains out there again, people on that ground, and I don't want my son to be one of those. If you guys have, can you please hit that like, share, and subscribe button? That would help. If you can, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That definitely help with the algorithms to get my son's story out. I love Father. Again, I'm David Robinson, father, geologist Daniel Robinson, the ones who just come in. I'm doing this Q&A for my son on his behalf to tell his story and to answer your questions about this case and everything I do know and what I can help share with you. Also to give you information, awareness of things I'm doing. I have the tip line here that's strolling on the bottom. You guys know or heard anything or know somebody who may. Tip line is right there. 844-602-0660. You can use that live operator. I'm paying for that service. It's live operator 24 hours, 7 days a week, who will take your call. You can remain anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to them or you just want to do it on your own, you can also, like what's strolling on the bottom of the screen here, you can text the word tip to that same number, and you can still remain anonymous if you like. So you get that option. So, you guys, please utilize that if you can. But please don't use it if you want to contact me to give me some suggestions or to have a conversation with me about where you think I should look and things like that. Use the number that I have strolling on the bottom there. I will get to you. Take some time a lot of times, but I will get to your phone call or your text messages. Just bearing that with me. But the number is 803-200-7994. Please utilize that. And I really appreciate it if you can. If you want to help, you want to sign a petition to help in other ways, to help with the city distribution, whatever the case may be, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. All the information there. Sign a petition, like I said, and hear about upcoming events. Whatever the case may be, you want to make your own flyers to help spread awareness. You can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and those informations will be there. And like I said, you guys who just come in, special operations searches are temporarily paused until further notice. Saying we got things I had to take care of on that front. Saying, but I really thank all the volunteers who came out there to help, for this far. But it's paused for right now. So we get some things taken care of before I start it back up again, and we will be working on that. So again, you also can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, hit the other ways to help. Tabs that's on the top, and put in your information there, because I do have a foundation that will be coming up, and you guys, some of you have a lot of skills, and they're very, very helpful. If you want to help with the foundation eventually, things like that, go ahead and put those skill sets there, and we'll be working on those. We're still working on a lot of things. People say, hey, I put my information there, I haven't heard a thing back. We're still working on it. Also, there's already 114,042 signatures that I've seen this morning. So you guys can go out there and sign the petition off of pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can do it multiple times. Just your voice. That's the multiple times is speaking louder. But the every one of those numbers is a person. 114,042 people. That's there. That's your voice. Your distaste of what's happening in this case. To, hey, you want to see some changes in the laws, which I do. That's what I'm advocating. That's what some of the foundation and things, what the petition is for, is to try to get some of those laws changed. But that 24 to 40 hours, to me, I know it is very crucial to finding a person. And we wonder why we have such a big problem in this country with missing people. It's because of the way they approach it. You should always assume the worst first and then work your way backwards, not assume the best first and then work your way up to a criminal case like they're doing in my son's case. When I'm telling them this is out of character for my son, if they would have worked that way like they're supposed to, it wouldn't have been no supervisor telling that officer they cut this flight that they already saying they was going to do for me, cut a flight because he's a grown man, and if he want to disappear, if he want to, I mean, how he wanted to disappear? Did he tell you that? And they come with some assumptions, assumptions. And the family saying something different, but you're a guy sitting behind some desk, and you can make a pool taking taxpayer money, and this taxpayer telling you about their loved one, and you make a decision in your brain to say, if he's a grown man, if he want to disappear, he can if he want to. How you know he wanted to disappear? I mean, who told you that? Did he tell you that? No. So we had to get those things changed and things like that. So that's one of the biggest things. So don't say, please, sign that petition. That's one of the things that I'm really working on hard to get changed. So please share, like, and subscribe to this channel. That definitely helped. Like I said, with the algorithms, I'm just desperately trying to get my son's story out. Like you guys know, I had to cut my searches down to once every other week, and now I had to cut them all together for right now. It's on temporary pause for right now because of funding. Everything I get so far is going to help me remain here, and also to get this forensic stuff done. Nothing had been done on the scene, you guys. Y'all told me to see that fingerprinting. That's not a big job from a police department standpoint to say, oh man, they did something. They did some fingerprinting. They did fingerprint because I asked for it, first of all. And that's not enough. What fingerprinting got to do with this clothing right here on the ground right here? I'm trying to get my orientation right, but right here on the ground, you see that right here? That's clothing. That's my son's clothing. What it had to do with fingerprinting? You ain't get no fingerprinting off their clothes. You ain't get no fingerprint off of the red transfer paint. You're not getting no fingerprint off of certain things in that vehicle. So off his laptop and things like that to find out what was going on the days before and things like that. You're not getting answers just by going to some guy at the well site that's last seen my son and asked him questions, never brought him in and vet his story. You're never going to get any answers from asking co-workers who never even seen my son the days coming up. Say co-workers with an S. There's only one worker that's seen my son. I verified it with his job. They have no co-workers that they even seen Dan. He's a field geologist. So I'm just saying, these guys didn't do anything. And so but anyway, that's the whole point is you guys can please like, share, subscribe. That help me get this story out. And I'm doing everything I can as a father to get my son's story out there. That's why I'm going to CrimeCon. to be able to share his story. That's the reason why I have these flyers here. That's why I have these banners. I have billboards, whatever the case may be. That's why I have this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is to get my son's story out there, and I suggest that to every other family who's going through the same thing that this family, my family, is going through. So, again, everything's on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can find all kind of ways you can help me and my family find my son. So, thank you again, everybody who's joining in, and everybody's here. I'm looking at the time, trying to keep up time. I know I need to get ready to get out of here. The tip line, thank you, Sophia, for putting those information back up there again. I really appreciate it. Let's see who else I got here. And I may go ahead and end this Q&A. Thank you, Wendy, for being here this morning on this Q&A. I really appreciate it. You guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What I'll do is I'll come back on Wednesday. I will have a Q&A on Wednesday, 2. It'll be 1 in the morning, 6:30 here in Arizona time, and 1 at 9. It'll be 6:30 a.m. here in Arizona time, 9:30 a.m. On the East Coast. And also I had the prime time on at 5:30 p.m. here, Arizona time, and then also that'll be 8:30 East Coast time. So, thank you guys. I really appreciate it that you've bearing in this Q&A with me, and like I said, sharing my son's story and making sure that you guys are hitting that like, share, and subscribe, and sharing. I mean, I'm just not here for some entertainment. I'm here to get my son's story out. And you guys have really been helping me do so. So I'm really grateful for you. I'm continually grateful for everything you're doing. So I'm looking for these answers. I know you guys are looking for these answers. Thank you for your prayers, Deborah, and thank you for being here. I know you guys look for answers too. And, so thank you so much. And that's why I had this Q&A, and I'll continue to have those. And y'all pray for me when I get down. I'm talking about this Crime Con. I may have some little footages here on the next Q&A. For Crime Con, I have some footages for. I hope I can get a family. I'm still working on trying to get these families out here to talk, but I want to be able to bring some awareness to somebody else's family too. So who's going through the same thing. So thank you so much. God bless you all. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here.